Hashem Yisbarach. Yom Sheni, the Parshas Vayikra, Shnas Tovshin Ayvov, Yeshiva Tiferes Avigdor. Today's shir is sponsored the SHLITA, Chaim Yitzchak, Ben Rasha Chana, Yisoich, Shor Chayli Yisroel. The surgery should go smooth. Hashem should guide the surgeon's hands, and it should be successful. It should come out from it whole once again.
Amen.
Vayikra el Moshe. Sefer Vayikra begins with Vayikra el Moshe. Hashem calls to Moshe. Vayedaber Hashem elov me'oyel moyed lema. So the question over here is obvious. Why didn't it just start by saying Vayedaber Hashem el Moshe? Why does it say Vayikra el Moshe first? What does that teach? So Rashi says that it teaches me that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu spoke to Moshe, the way he spoke to Moshe was not suddenly. He didn't just begin talking and communicating with Moshe, but rather l'chol dibrois u'l'chol amirois u'l'chol tzivuyim, to all those amirois and tzivuyim kodma kriya, there was always Hashem called Moshe by name first. Now you have to know there's a Gemara in Yuma like that. That when you talk to somebody, you don't begin talking to somebody gleich. What you're supposed to do is, you're supposed to mention his name. Like I always say, Yomi. Then you talk to somebody. But, Matis, wake up, Matis. But, what do you do it for? The Gemara says that's a loshen chiba. It's a term of endearment. It's a way of being mechabed a person. And it says that it's a loshen shemalachei ashores mishtamshim. It's a loshen that malachei ashores are mishtamshim. Shenemar v'koro zeh el zeh v'yomar. When the malachim sing shira to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they call one to another. Now what's the purpose of that? What's the idea of derech chiba? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is trying to be mekarev Moshe Rabbeinu to himself. The malachim are trying to be mekarev one another to be biyachad. They're going to be mechaber HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'roi v'am, so they will korah zel zevi amar. Avol the Nevi'ei Umay Sa'olam, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu addresses the Nevi'ei Umay Sa'olam, Hu Nikla Aleim B'loshen Arai. As we would say, hey you, hey there, and you start talking. Like it says, Tuma Shenemar Vayikar Elikim El Bilam. Now, this call, Hashem called to Moshe. So the first lesson we learned from this pasuk is that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to be mekarev somebody, he gives you, he calls you by name. That's the first thing. lesson we learn from this: when we talk to one another, address somebody by name first before you start to talk. Then it says, Vayikra el Moshe. Rashi goes on to say, HaKoil hoylech umagia la'oznav. The koil would come forth and reach the ears of Moshe. The Chol Yisroel loy shoymim. All the Klal Yisroel could not hear. It's amazing. Moshe Rabbeinu heard the kols talking to him. No one else heard it. For every dibur there was a koil. A love, the pasuk says, even l'mayit tisar. Now, the Rashi goes on, and he says that this coil, we have to clear. Was this coil a soft coil? Let's say I talk to you and I say el chad, and I say it quietly. So why does somebody outside the room not hear it? Because it's not a loud enough coil, right? If I would scream loud enough, the person outside would wonder why I'm screaming at you. Maybe you understand why I'm screaming at you. But he would understand that. Rashi over here says there was a chiddush. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu spoke, he spoke in a very loud voice. Yochel, you might think, mipnei shehakoil namuch, it was a soft coil. Talmud Leimer es hakoil. Hakoil hamefurish b'tehil. You want to know what kind of koil Hashem spoke to Moshe in? Koil hakoil, koil Hashem b'koyach, koil Hashem b'hodor, koil Hashem shoiver arazim. No shoiver arazim, break the cedar breaking koilos are. Those are koilos that we can't imagine. Thunderous, and it's amazing. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't get perturbed. That was called Hashem's way of Lashon Chiba. So if I shout at you like that, I'm just going to be dark HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, so it says, what does it mean, Ma'ayel Mayid? Melamed Shahaya Koil Nifsak. So it comes out like this. It came into this thing, this Koil is mamish, lo yu'uman ki yisum, indescribable Koil. No one was able to hear it, only Moshe Rabbeinu. Not even Aaron and Kohen, not somebody standing outside the door, not somebody standing next to the garnish. Once it got to the Chatzar HaChitzayna, it was nifsak. And stop a little shot, the pasuk over here. The pasuk goes on, Rashi says that when Hashem spoke to him, where did the sound emanate from? Did it come out of the whole Bible? Was it like surround sound? Was that Bose, all around sound installed into the Mishkan? Was that what Hashem had? No, because it says, Rashi says that the koil, the pasuk says it was me'ayel mayid, but Rashi says it wasn't mikol habayis. It only came out me'ala kapayris, but not the whole ala kapayris. It was mamish mibein shnei akruvim. The sound was very guided, directed between the two kruvim. That's where the voice of Hashem was heard from. So the chayre the shaila is, if it was heard mibein akruvim, why does the pasuk say me'ayel mayid? The pasuk says Vayikra Hashem el Moshe. So we'll sing you to Moshe. Yidaber Hashem el mayid. What's it? It was mibein akruvim. Why does it have el mayid? But Rashi himself is biyash that question. Because Rashi says it did not go outside the oil. That means when the pasuk says that Hashem spoke to him, me'oil moyed, it doesn't mean that the dibur was when emanated from the oil moyed. It means that the dibur was heard by Moshe from the time that Moshe Rabbeinu entered the oil. Vayidaber Hashem elov me'el moed. That means if Moshe was 1 inch outside the moed, he heard nothing. The second he walked in, me'el moed, from inside the oil moed, Moshe Rabbeinu then heard the whole zach. And it was very, very loud, and it was Bisman Shenichnes Oil Moed. So over here, the Torah is telling us that the Rebbeinu Shalom has a mahalach of where he calls two people. You have to know it's not only Moshe Rabbeinu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has many ways that HaKadosh Baruch Hu calls to each one of us. Toy v'yosher Hashem al kein yoyrech hatoyim baderech. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has all ways of calling to us. The question is, do you listen? What was the first call that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to Moshe? Was the first time HaKadosh Baruch Hu called Moshe? In what fashion? How did it happen? HaKadosh Baruch Hu spoke to him by the Sineh. That was the first invitation. Now if you look in the Chumash there, it's very interesting. What was the scenario? Moshe Rabbeinu was carrying the sheep in the midbar, walking along after chasing the sheep down, taking care of the sheep, and feeding the sheep. And now he's walking in the midbar, right? And how does Hashem call? Does he all of a sudden hear echoes of voices in the desert? No. The first thing he does, he notices a bush that's burning. It says that he looked. He looked. Look means he was misbeinu. Ru'u. Shainim always say Re'iyah means he was misbeinu. Now we would be misbeinu and say, wow, that's curious. A fire going on in the desert. I wonder who lit it. I wonder if somebody here is a firebug. Guy threw a cigarette out in the desert. Then he read the sign that says, the beers are here, and they don't want you to, don't leave everything flammable. Did they tell them that? We walk on. Moshe Rabbeinu understands, says Vayar, and he turned to go and check it out. Now, what if Moshe Rabbeinu would have said, listen, I'm dying, I just chased the sheep down, I got to get back to my sheep. That's a curious thing, I see this thing burning, what a guy. He would have missed the opportunity of his life. I mean, that would have been some opportunity lost. Imagine Hashem would have come to him and said, you know what? Today was your call. I'll share the Nerdik Amaisa from Lakewood Mashkiach, not Rabbi Zachfai. And he said that he once saw in a Pincus in a city in Europe, related a story about a Dibik. There was a fellow in that town who was a Pasha to Melamed. And this Melamed decided that he used to be a Baal Chesed. People came to him, they were needing, and he would go and raise money for them. And one day he had gone already twice to raise money, and he couldn't go anymore. Somebody came to him, they were desperate for money. He didn't know what to do. The guy said, please, I'm desperate. He could have said, come back another day. He told the guy, you know what? I'm going to try my best. And he thought that the eighth is going to be, he's going to go ask the Goyish parts. The Goyish feudal lord. A Goy, they weren't known as to be Oyev and Yehudim. They used their Jews, they enjoyed their Jews, they abused their Jews. If you go ask the parts, maybe the Goy of Svanich Murachimov. So he goes to the parrot's house, he tells him the story, and the parrot says, I'll be glad to help you out, give you whatever you need. But you're going to have to do something. I'm having a party. I'm going to need you to come out and show up at this party like Achashverosh told Vashti to show up. So you're going to have to show up in your birthday suit. The way we're going to do it is, we're going to have the party room. We're all going to be there. It's I'm going to give you a notice. You're going to be in a side room. You're going to take your clothes off. And you're going to come out and you're going to do a little jig. You go back, you get your money. Yeah, but Mesamechos. So he should have learned from Vashti. Vashti said no, it didn't work out good for her. You should not be asked such a question to come out in your birthday suit. But if you are, somebody ever asked such a question, I think it's a message from Hashem. So he got undressed. He was giving them notice. It's now his time. And he got undressed. He walked toward the door, and he couldn't do it. He got dressed again. They came over. They knew what's going on. They're coming out. Come on. What did you do? Okay, no, I can't do it. You gotta do it. We'll wait for you. You're the what you call the main attraction here. You're the main attraction over in this party. The kids, he gets undressed again. 3 times in it. 3 times in it. Dressed, undressed. Finally, he said, I can't do it. So the Dibuk said like this. That in Shemayim, the first time the guy got undressed, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was machnis pamal Yisroel. They all got together. And they said, this mensch is going to bring Mashiach. I'm ready to bring the Gula. If he's ready to do this for another Yid, this is going to bring Mashiach. The opposite, the spitze opposite of Beis's stone. Then he would change his mind. Hashem said, no, cancel it. 3 times it happened. And after the 3rd time when he stopped, he created a great disappointment. And the Dibuk said, I'm Melamed, bleibt the Melamed. I mean, even the Parsha the guy, he bleibt the Parsha the guy. He had his call. It was his call to greatness. He had a moment that the guy could have seized the opportunity of it. That was a call directly. That was Vayikra Hashem al Moshe. That's Hashem calling. You didn't hear it? You heard it? He began, Vayosar, he turned toward it. Vayifen, he turned toward it. Made him start walking toward the stair. And he couldn't go through. There's a Gemara in Tainus. And he had his Gemara. I'm just not Gemara. Gemara says 2 giants, 2 giants, Ilfa and Rebbecha. They used to have a learning Torah together. We have no much of what their learning Torah was like. The Gemara says the Chiku Lohumil Satuva. They became Azab Matzav of poverty. It became Azab Matzav of poverty. It was mamish, they were royev lalechem. They had such aniyas, it was laying. Amri, they said to each other, maybe this is the call. Nekum v'nezel v'nevin iska v'nekayim. Let's go, get up, let's go do some business, and we'll be mekayim in ourselves the pasuk that says, Efes kilo yiyeh b'cho evyer. Rashi said they figured I'd come up with a plan. Everybody's looking for the plan. And they made a plan to go out there, Rashi says, and they came up with an 8 so that there should be less Evyonim in Klal Yisroel. And that's the Ratzon Hashem also they said. Efes kilayim b'chayim. So they went to go carry out their plan. Oisvi tusi guder, and they sat down under a weak wall. Also, Trey Malachei Hashos. 2 Malachim came. Shamei Rabbi Yochanan hears the Amar Chad L'Chavri that one of the Malachim says to his friend, Nishdi Alayu Haiguda. Let's throw this wall on top of these 2 folks. V'nikta linu. Let's take their lives. Yeah. Can you imagine that? I picture this story many times when I'm sitting on the road somewhere, I go on a trip somewhere, and I'm picturing that maybe this malachim right behind me saying, maybe we should kill this guy. What do you think about that idea? Taking his life, not an accident, not a little trip. Let's take him out. Your hair on the back of your head would go up and you'd start to break into a serious sweat. No? You would say, oh boy, What's going on? You go nuts? No. They said something. Why should he kill him? Shemenichin chaya olam haba v'oiskim b'chayisha. Can you imagine this? Because they're pushing starving people. They're not people who have means. They're pushing chita l'tuva. Or so in a very tough situation. No. Amal leidach, the other malach answers back and says, Shavkim, let's leave them be. The ikabu chad, the kaimalu shait. One of these two, his moment has arrived. His moment has arrived. This is the shah taiva of it. No. Rabbi Yochanan Shama, Rabbi Yochanan heard this. Ilfa loy Shama, Ilfa didn't hear. Amalu Rabbi Yochanan Ilfa, Rabbi Yochanan turns to Ilfa and he says, Shama mar midi. Do you hear anything? Am I hearing anything? Did you hear anything? Amalu like, so Amar Rabbi Yochanan said, Midi Shami Ana, because I heard it, the ilfa loy shama, shmami no lididi kaimali shayt. I'm the one whose moment has arrived. And this is my time. So Amal Rabbi turns to Ilfa and he says, you know what? I had to change your heart. I decided I'm not going to be Mekayim the Pasuk of Ephes, Kilagiyah B'cha Evyoin. I'm going to go back and I'm going to Mekayim another Pasuk. Kiloyech Dal Evyoin Mikerav Haaretz. There's always two ways to see something. One guy Mekayim Kilagiyah B'cha Evyoin, and the next day he hears Shefaked of Mekayim saying, I have to be, maybe I'm the one who has to be Mekayim Kiloyech Dal Evyoin Mikerav Haaretz. I mean, in spite of that news, says Rabbi Yochanan went back to the yeshiva. Ilfa loy hadar. Ilfa said, Ilfa's decision, mind was made up. Now, by the time Ilfa came back from his trips, Molach Rabbi Yochanan, you know how many years it was? He went to work to make some money for 12 years. 12 years. At that point, Rabbi Yochanan was Rosh Yeshiva. Don't say he became Rosh Yeshiva the next day. He said, oh, patiently. What would we have done? Go back to Yeshiva? No? Anyway, go into the office, you're looking for a job, and he's telling us about it. No, he said, learn. I heard it. I heard the zug. Yeah, I heard it. Patience. No, I'll teach you as a show. It's going to come. You heard it? 12 years later, he was the Parsha Vayikra. He was the Rosh Yeshiva, and at that point, Rosh Yeshiva in those days, somebody who was, they gave Kesef a lot of money to, and he was the usher in the Chum. Amru Loi, they said to Ilfa. Now, how would you learn this story at this point? Till this point, now I always learn this story. There was a message to Rabbi Yochanan, and not to Ilfa. Right? That's what it said. Well, listen what the Gemara says. They told Ilfa now a message. They said to Ilfa, "E mar vigaris. If you would have sit and learned, you should know. Lo yahavi molech ma. Rabbi Yochanan would have never gotten the job. You would have been the one to get it. So it's not the pshat. You know what you see from this part of the Gemara? Or, Tyson has another pshat, but it's the same word. Tyson said to him, do you think, had you sat here, you wouldn't have become the next Rosh Yeshiva? You're much bigger than Rabbi Yochanan. Like, where were you running? You had the shteller in your pocket. Oh, you're running? No. And because you didn't come back, you lost it all. Hear that? Now, from that Gemara, I see a Pel Gazal. That really, Ilfa, it was also for him. Why didn't he hear the message? Why didn't he hear the message? You know why? He didn't want to hear the message. Ilfa had made up his mind what he's doing. And his mind wasn't going to change. You see that for the whole Gemara. You know why? Let's say I was imagining I'd go with somebody else. We made our minds we're leaving yeshiva. And now one guy decides in the middle of the trip, no. After he asks him, did you hear anything? And I know this guy doesn't hallucinate. What would I have said to him? No, what's the again? I heard something, right? Okay, what do I care what you heard? You heard that you heard. I heard. He didn't ask him, what did you hear? He would have asked him, what's the day? He would have told him, I heard Malach just say, let's kill these two guys because they left the yeshiva. He would have said, what? They would have killed him to left the yeshiva? Now the Maisi said they didn't kill him. But the Malachim said that there was a time on them for leaving the yeshiva. But Rabbi Yochanan was Muchan Lishmoy. And of Ilfa, when he came back 12 years later, then Hashem gave him the message directly. And what Hashem tell him? He had the Yid in the yeshiva tell him, what did you tell this message for? Trying to hurt him? What are they trying to do with him? The job's taken now. He got the job. It's not available anymore. What are you telling him this? You're letting him know you made a mistake. You missed the message. In our life, every one of us gets messages. There's nobody that doesn't get messages. Hashem talks to every single one of us. And he does it in many fashions. Many fashions. Sometimes HaKadosh Baruch Hu directs somebody to a certain place, a certain yeshiva, a certain rebbe. Not long ago, a Baruch called me up. He had chosen to go to a yeshiva. Came to that yeshiva, and I told the guy before, you should know you're a kind of person by nature that after a while you start to complain. That's your mitzvahs. Don't complain. Do yourself a favor. You're going to feel pressure. Don't complain. Go grow up. It's time to grow up in your life and go past it. I've seen other times in your life when you complain and you almost threw the towel. You almost lost it. Don't lose it. Don't throw it in the towel. Sure enough, now, not a long time went back, maybe a month or two goes by, guy calls me up, not happy. I told the guy, oh, okay, so now we're holding by where we hold. That's you, it's not a chiddush. No, it's different. He explains to me, God shidduch Torah. I tell him, you don't remember. I remember your alter shidduch Torah. Every time you say the same shidduch Torah. Doesn't make it different. You always have this shidduch Torah. Do yourself a favor. No, I'm coming home, I'm going to different yeshiva, I'm doing this. I said, no, listen, man, you're out of your mind. I begged him. I said, please, I'm telling you, do yourself a favor. I said, Hashem brought you there. You're not getting the message. Hashem's called to you, and he said to you, boy, Heina, this is your muck. You didn't run away. Hashem invited you there. Hashem is telling you, this is your muck. You can, you're oimit ishtay. Grow. We left off after a long conversation of an hour, we talking and back, and but this, and Chavrusa was also complaining. Get away from the complainers. And this is boring, this shir is boring, and that's boring. Everything's boring in life. What do you expect? It's part of life. I beg you, I told him, stay in the yeshiva, learn the Masechta, don't go to shir. Sleep in the shir, learn Bekiyas, but stay in the program. Don't drop out of the program. I really beseeched him. I said, I'm telling you, it's going to be a momentous decision of your life. No, he had a whole plan. He called his friends up in different yeshivas. They said, they invited him there. The B'nai Asot all invited him over there. The Baruch everything there. And the guy calls me up last week. And he says to me, I have to tell you, the shir is nerdy. The shir is nerdy, he says. I said, what? I said, what happened? I said, look, I'm happy I took your advice, Dustin. I'm happy I took your advice. It's not like the way the shear was too hot and he couldn't hear in the shear, he didn't have a good spot. I thought we talked like a baby. I told whether you want a private shear or she was you're a big bacher, big yeshiva, that's how it goes on big yeshiva, see. You can't sit on top of the Rebbe's lap, you know what I mean? It doesn't work like that. I mean, you got to muchasach and you got to it's not interesting. And finally the guy got himself a temporary seat, like on the table. And the Rebbe said to him, you know what, the Rebbe spoke to him 2 hours, had a long schmooze with him, and he said, you really want to make it? And he said, yes. And then he said, okay, I'm going to take care of you. So the Rebbe brought him into the circle, the inner circle, and then he got a Talmud, who's the kaisav of the shir, writes the shir over that big yeshiva, who's a professional knowing the shir. He sent the guy over to him and said, could you maybe help me on Shabbos afternoon? I need a chavusa to help me clarify the shir. Could you maybe do it with me? And he said, it took him a couple of Shabbos to realize that the guy, I wasn't doing him the favor, that he was doing me the favor. And he was trying to help me out. And then I found him, he said to me, I asked the guy, did Rashiva tell you to come over to me? He said, oh, we talked about it, I know exactly, you know what I mean? But I appreciate it, you know. And then Friday afternoon, Rashiva got him a Chashiv now, Shabbos Friday morning. He was the kind of guy that could have not come Fridays. It was the fella. I told the guy, you see how Hashem saved your life? Hashem said, you heard the call, you heeded the call. Hashem gave you the call. You know how many people had the call? Hashem gave them the call, and they ran away from life. They didn't make a cheshbon. They could have steiged. They could have grown. They could have developed. Go out their life to buy. Because they let little things get in the way. You realize you're building your life. I think it's a mikra. Hashem's going to say, you think this is Vayikra or Bilam? Was it b'mikra? Hashem said, you know what I had to do to orchestrate for you to end up with that yeshiva, with this person, with that person, take that shit. I see shidduchim Hashem makes, it's like mavel of the right. Where do you go? You know how many people I see Hashem invites them into a yeshiva, and they come empty and they go out, and they don't develop themselves. You didn't heed the call. Hashem was calling you. Hashem was talking to you. Once had a person who had a sick child. I told the person, do you realize that Hashem is knocking on your door 24/7? You don't open the door. How come you don't open the door? For years. I said, how would you feel if you had to give a guy an important message and you knock on the guy's door 24 hours a day and the guy never opens the door for you, and you see the guy walking in there? You know he's there, you know his wife's there, and you're knocking on the guy, you got to give this important message. I said, how would you feel? Never once you opened the door and said, excuse me, well, can I help you? I said, I have a very important message for you. A message for me? And the guy opened the door for me. I told the guy, why don't you try opening the door listening? What am I supposed to do? I said, Hashem's, first I'm going to tell you who's knocking on your door. Hashem is knocking on your door. First thing, ask yourselves, are you doing what Hashem wants? If let's say you see a police, you look out of your door, you see the police knocking on your door, right? So, what's the first thing you think? What did I do wrong? What law did I not keep? That's what you don't think. My breakfast must not be good. You don't think, I must have messed up. You think right away, I must have done something wrong. If Hashem's knocking your door, the first thing you think is, what am I not doing? What Hashem wants. Answer the call. Like I answered the call. Then I answered the call. And he heard. Shlomo Melech, Hashem said to him, what do you want? Tell me what's still left. Tell me the dream. You want to be rich? Tell me what you want. Know what he said? I want a listening mind. I want a mind that gets it. I want somebody I can walk down the street and see Hashem's operation. Whenever we look at the world, we're watching Hashem's operation. We're watching Hashem in action. Are you shemei what Hashem is saying to you? But most people go through the road. I don't know about you, but I hate driving on the road or going somewhere where I don't know where I'm going. I don't have a good sense of direction. There's some people that say, going east, we're heading east. I don't know exactly which highway, but I know it's east, we're going east. How do you know? I go east, going west, going south, going north. By me, I'm lost. I don't know where. I like clear directions beforehand. This road, that road. I don't know where to go. I know message. Hashem is talking to them all the time. They walk around, their mouths wide open, their eyes all open, their ears wide open. Gornish, where you heading? I don't know. We're just going, man. It's going. Yeah, it's just going. Okay. Listen up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Vayikra. Hashem talks to you. Sometimes only you hear it. Another guy doesn't hear it. Not everything you have to share to the next person. No. But Hashem talking to you doesn't talk to the enemy. Talk to the enemy doesn't talk to you. Hashem has different ways of talking to you. But listen, get a leiv shemeya and answer the call. And come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then it's going to become a kriya SHLITA. And if you do it first, if you listen to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when Hashem talks to you, Hashem's going to talk to you a lot more often. That's the minik ha'olam. When somebody knocks on your door, and the guy opens the door, you know what you do? And the guy says, I'm happy to see you. You come again? You say, you come again? Sure, come again. Come again, you knock again? Well, a guy knocks your door enough and never answers the door. Doesn't answer the call. Doesn't answer. So what do you do? Close him up. Forget about the guy. Push the walls on this guy. That's what you say. It was a waste of time. A waste of time. And Shmuel should help us listen to the call, heed the call, and rise to it.